Hey guys, welcome to our Wednesday Live. I'm Dr. B and this is Dr. J, Texas Functional Health Centers. This week we're talking about why yoga and Pilates might not be the first answer to get things fixed.
Yeah.
Right? And why that is.
Yeah, we get that a lot in the office. People are often, they come in and they're like, oh, you know, I've really been looking into yoga and Pilates. I think I'm just going to go do that. Which, it sounds perfectly reasonable, right? Like it seems like it would make sense, right? Because yoga, Pilates, things like that, it's really low impact and it's good for your posture. It's supposed to work on your posture. It's supposed to work on your breathing, right? All beautiful, wonderful things. But unfortunately, one of the main problems is that if you're already in pain, it means that you're already in a level of dysfunction, right? And so some of your muscles aren't working, or you're off balance, or you're misaligned already. And so whenever you are going into a yoga class or Pilates class, right, you are literally just jumping in and you're gonna do whatever that class is doing, whether or not you are actually prepared or ready to do eagle pose, right?
Or the flamingo one.
Yeah.
So it's a wonderful first choice for most people, right? So if you're healthy, you're happy,
Yeah,
you're just
sure.
looking to be
100%.
more healthy, more happy, right? Yoga, Pilates, wonderful solution.
I love yoga, I love Pilates,
Right.
I do them both.
So if we have no problems going in, right? I'm a healthy, happy person. I have no pain, no problems, never had a problem. Wonderful place to start,
Yeah.
right? Most versions of Pilates and yoga are going to have a beginner's level that are going to ease you in, right? And then start to build you up on that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now, if I'm showing up to Pilates because I have a hip that's always bothering me, right? So I constantly have this hip that's tight. It doesn't feel very good. It started a couple of years ago, and I don't know where it came from. Right? So I'm like, I'll go to Pilates. I'll stretch. I'll work out some things, and it's going to make it better. Often not the case. Maybe temporarily for a moment when we do stretch it or we do get it moving for a moment, it feels better.
Yeah.
Right? And so we get a temporary relief. But I've been doing Pilates for 6 months, and my hip still bothers me if I don't do it.
Or, in all reality, what happens a lot of times is patients they're like, oh, I'm going to start it, right? And they do, and they start it. And then all of a sudden, their neck pain is so much worse than what it was before, or their hip pain is so much worse, or their back pain is just excruciating now. And that happens more times than I could count.
More often than not, we have an underlying problem. So something's not working the way it's supposed to, and that's how that pain came about in the first place.
Yeah.
So going to stress and strain that part or piece by doing some advanced complex movement that is Pilates or yoga is really not a good solution or starting point for most people that have those kinds of problems. And so foundations of normal function are super, super, super important to get things going, right? We like to say, if I went to do Pilates or yoga and I've had chronic neck pain forever, it's like putting a new roof on a house that has a crumbling foundation. A good mechanic one would be if I have my steering's all kinds of messed up, my alignment's completely off, but I'm going to get some new tires. Right? The old ones wore out, but I'm going to put some new ones on it. But I didn't fix any of the reason that the old ones got worn out.
Right.
So we got to really think about foundational components and movements. That's really, really, really important for most people before they start something like Pilates or yoga.
Right. Especially if so what'll often happen is, right, so like we've talked about this before, but our brain will literally just kind of forget certain muscles, right? Just forget that they're even there. And so whenever you go into these classes, right, yoga, Pilates, right, these are actually really complex movements, right? And if you've taken on one of these classes, you understand that, like, you're going in and you're trying to, like, you know, get your ankle over your head. Like, these are complex movements, and what'll end up happening is you're not really fixing anything whenever you're in there, what you end up doing is you end up relying on the old compensation patterns that are already there. So you end up adding additional stress to the already overstressed parts, right? So the already overused ligaments, the already overused muscles, now you're just tacking on extra work for them because you haven't gone back and actually corrected the foundation of what's going on in the first place.
Our bodies are beautiful and that they can accommodate anything. Right? They went through a series of changes in order to accommodate still functioning even though we have our discomfort or pain.
Yeah.
It's going to continue to do that accommodation. It's going to continue to reform and rebuild and facilitate that dysfunction within that part or piece so that you can get that job done, right? So if we push ourselves, we can push ourselves to really do quite a bit even though things aren't working the way they're supposed to, right? So I can make it pretty far through yoga even though I don't really have that full range of motion in my hip yet.
Right.
I have other parts and pieces that'll compensate to make it look like I'm doing the right thing. Kind of appears from the outside that my body's functioning more or less, but certainly not working on the inside, right? Making things worse, making pains worse, making the dysfunction that's going to lead to the degeneration, the problems down the road even worse.
Yeah, and we actually have like yoga and Pilates instructors come in here because once again, it's not used to correct the foundational problems. And just like anything else, so like if you always play tennis, if you always play football, if you always lift the same way at the gym, if you are a Pilates instructor and you always just do Pilates, right? Our body is going to accommodate and it's gonna let go or forget those pathways to those other muscles. And so those instructors, they end up coming here in order to rebuild their foundation in order to get them back on track. Because once again, it is a really complex movement, and for people who are healthy and they're good to go, love it, start the beginner's class, start going. But if you are already experiencing some issues, the truth of it is that you need to start at a much less level, like a basic, very foundational level. Like you just need to make sure, like, are your glutes even working? Are they even being signaled to before we start moving into cat-cows, before we start moving bridges, like, because you will see those kind of exercises on YouTube as well, right? As like at home, get yourself back in order, get yourself back in shape, especially because summer's right around the corner.
Or fix your back in 7 days.
Yeah.
Do this stretch every day for 7 days, your back will be fine.
Yeah. But
it's a lie.
Right, but that's just that is just not the case in so many situations.
So the foundation that we keep talking about, it's what we harp on because it's what we focus on. We really want our patients to have the foundation of normal functioning muscles, their neurology, the musculoskeletal system, all working in concert like it's supposed to.
Yeah.
We want that foundation of a normal 100% range of motion and function out of the parts and pieces of our body so that they can start to work together. Right? So we break it down in the very, very beginning, piece by piece. I'm working on one particular muscle, trying to get that one particular muscle to talk to our brain again so that it can function.
Right.
At the same time that we're regaining a ton of range of motion.
Yeah.
So most of our patients probably couldn't complete the normal complex movements of a Pilates move for the first 3 months.
Yeah. Like
they don't have any of the parts or pieces working the way it's supposed to until the very end of what we're doing.
Yeah.
And the remodeling that we're trying to help our patients achieve happens over 12 to 18 months after they even start making the changes.
Right.
And so we're just getting the foundations, we're just getting the body started in that process, and then they have to continue that movement process, the use of their body so that it'll keep rebuilding over time.
Yeah, so I mean really we're trying to rebuild those connections with those individual muscles so that our patients can launch off into those Pilates classes, those yoga classes, and start living that kind of life again.
Most of our patients have that type of goal. They want to be more active again, or they
were
trying to be more active to lose weight or something like that, and they're like, man, every time I go to the gym, my back is killing me afterwards. So I'm down and out for 3 days. Okay, we probably have a foundational problem that we need to address before we can get back into the gym, that full effort that you're trying to give it, and we're going to get that foundation fixed.
Yeah.
Get it where they can go to the gym every day, they can lose that weight, they can get fit and do the things they want to do, and just really getting them in that position in their life that they can make those changes.
Yeah. Right, because especially this time of year, right, everybody, like, they want to go outside, they want to go rollerblade again, or they want to, like, go swimming again, right? They want to start stepping into those stages and phases and being more active, right? It kind of comes with summer, and during that process, they start realizing that they have a lot more going on.
Not just a tight hamstring,
right?
Something else is going on.
Yeah.
So
if you happen to find yourself in that situation, understand that there are solutions. There are things that can be done.
So making sure that we don't have any foundational issues before we start on things like Pilates, yoga, or even complex like exercise programs, trying to lose weight, things like P90X or some kind of guided class version of things. Right. It is, most of them are designed for the general public, so little problems here and there is fine, but most of them are going to be a little bit too complex for somebody that has an underlying problem that's been around for years, months. Right, and all the compensations our bodies come up with for those.
Yeah.
And so making sure we have a healthy foundation is a good starting point for everybody. Making sure that your body works the way it's supposed to. I mean, soreness and achiness is okay afterwards, but pain, we really shouldn't have much of that.
And here's one that like we do in the office, like as a beginner, right? So you can sit down, like in a chair, something kind of hard, right? And you can stick your hands underneath your butt, right? And you can just see if you can squeeze your glutes 90 times. And are they equal? Are they even? Are they happening at the same time? Are you able to actually feel them squeeze? This is usually one of those moments that people are all like, oh, what's going on? They're not the same. Why is this one working and why is this one not?
Or can you squeeze your glutes without your hamstrings or your legs doing all kinds of crazy stuff to make it happen? So, like the glutes are one of the first muscles that'll disappear anytime we have a postural problem, and so it'll start to recruit other big muscle groups. So we'll see the lumbar erectors, so the lower back will start to contract when we're taking steps when our glutes should be firing. Our hamstring will start to take over, our deep psoas. So a lot of different compensatory muscles will take over, and our glutes will just completely turn off, shut off. Like, can't even find them if you wanted to. And so many patients that are even athletically inclined.
Can't
find their glutes. Can't even get them turned on. Couldn't get them squeezed to save their life.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, like coaches, trainers, things like that. Because they've been compensating. Other muscles have been compensating. So it's a good little test that we do in the office just to start finding out what muscles are actually turned on. And you can do it at home. It's simple.
Easy peasy.
Yeah.
So we love yoga, we love Pilates, we love all those wonderful modalities that help us get better and stronger as healthy people. But we want to make sure we're healthy first, right? So if we have any kind of issues going into this season where people are getting more athletic or trying to get out more and do things, get it checked out first, right? So always make sure that there's nothing going on in the background, no underlying issues before we get into those kinds of activities.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been fun. It's been real. I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah. Bye.